We review it Wednesday.
Well, I'm not sure that I am in love with Indiana Jones anymore.
But it was your destiny.
Well, let's dial it up and figure it out.
Introducing your host.
I know there's been a lot of speculation of whether or not I am Matt Logan. And yes, I am Matt Logan.
I'm Tyler. Tyler Peterson.
Slugheads.
So I watched the Crystal Skull one.
Oh, did you?
Have you seen that?
It was awful.
Have you seen all of these?
Yes.
Okay.
The second one freaked me out as a child.
The Temple of Doom. Yeah, I know, right?
Yep.
And
hard pass.
So I decided I wanted to kind of like brush up on it and watch the last one. How did it leave off? Because I only watched that one once.
Yeah, that's all I've ever seen it.
It's not very good.
No. It doesn't deserve a second viewing.
No.
But I understand why you did it.
Yeah, because I just couldn't really remember.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf's in it.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah.
So
it's probably good.
So is Sean Connery. I mean, we knew that already.
Yeah. I watched
from
1, 3, and 5. So I guess I decided to do it every other.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, every other had been good. I
True.
don't think it continued with that, but
there were some problems with Temple of Doom, but overall it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, but which was 2. I don't know. It's so they.
Do you think this would have been a better one? So, in 2015, there was that rumor of it potentially getting rebooted with Chris Pratt, which Chris Pratt was basically doing. I mean, that's when he took over Jurassic World and some other stuff. Do you think it would have been better for them to just reboot it?
So here's, I did look into that.
Yeah.
Here's what I was able to find.
Yeah.
Now, people can go verify this or whatever, but Harrison Ford is been quoted
to say, I'm Indiana Jones.
Yeah. And that's it.
Right.
Which is really bad.
I agree.
I've lost a lot of respect for Harrison Ford the last few years here. Yeah. And when I was reading that, I'm like, I'm sorry,
bad.
dude.
It's a bad look.
It's a terrible look.
Yeah. It's one thing to be like, I think there's still things I want to do with the character and to move it forward. But to me, it was just more like, no, I don't want anyone else to do it because it's mine.
Yeah, and I mean, as an artist, I'm sure that's a thing and whatever, but I guess he didn't own the franchise. I'm sure he's buddies with everybody, but I think it would have been a very different thing if Steven Spielberg would have actually directed this one as well.
Yeah.
And he didn't, obviously.
No.
Which was obvious.
Right.
There's a lot of things that were right with this. There's a lot of things that were wrong. More wrong than right.
That's why I like.
So you text me and you said, what do you think? I'm curious to know what you think of the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, you told me you're going to watch it. I'm excited to see what you think about the first 15 minutes of the film because of what happened with Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. So, I'm like, I already knew, about the first 15 minutes or whatever.
And I tried to keep it non-spoiler. It's just like, I'm just excited to hear what you think about the first 15.
So listen up, we're gonna have spoilers here.
Spoiler
and
alert.
So just spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I
first 15
hate.
It's not a spoiler.
Well, maybe not, but
at what point is something a spoiler?
It's true.
Yeah. It's not a major plot point.
We're not like a podcast or movie review or whatever you want to call it. It's not normal what we do.
Yeah,
it's really that's exactly. And so it's like
we also derail thought of
totally. And the thing is we're trying to do we're trying to do something as a conversation.
Yeah.
We're not trying to like become these YouTube stars. It would be great if we could grow. We'd appreciate your sub.
Yeah.
But the real idea is this conversation. Like, what did you think? That blah blah blah. So,
first 15 minutes. What did you think?
We're in an age that an age of filmmaking that I would just as soon go back and watch the old stuff.
Yep.
that I don't really like.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing real things. Look, people age.
It happens.
I hate this de-aging stuff they've been doing. But I hate it.
And there was no reason to.
No, you could have totally told that story without doing it the way they did it.
Yeah, exactly.
That piece.
Or
in 5 minutes.
Get a younger actor. Like, I understand, like, I don't know. There's so many different routes they could have taken to not make it look like a video game for 10 minutes.
If I want to see a cartoon,
yeah,
I'm going to see a cartoon.
Yeah.
If I want live action, I want live action.
Yeah.
And it's like
it was so brutal.
It was.
Anytime it had a shot of Indiana's face, it was like not good.
Well, and I don't know if I have it figured out yet, but I think I do. And I have thought about this since watching it. So it's his old man voice.
Yeah. So they didn't care about that.
Yeah. So I remember it correctly, right?
I didn't pay. I can't remember it close enough.
I mean, he sounded old.
Did you know that it took 100 employees to get the whole 15 minutes figured out? I don't know how much time those 100 employees spent doing it, but anything that takes that amount of people, it should have turned out better.
Yes.
Yeah. Or just scrap it.
And there was some cool scenes there, shots or whatever you want to call it, that the train...
Okay, here's a spoiler. How in the world does somebody get hit that hard in the face and then come back with no scars?
Oh, well, yeah. How are you in a building with a bomb that goes off in the basement and you're...
Right.
All that stuff, too. I mean...
Okay, well, physics was, like... somewhat shoddy for that part, but that guy got whaled.
Well, yeah, with a metal object.
Yeah. And I was like, this is so bad because I know that character's coming back.
It'd crush your face.
Yeah.
I mean, it would literally crush your face.
No scars.
None.
Anything. It's okay. He's a physicist.
Right.
He doesn't do science, or he doesn't do history stuff or whatever it was.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that was like, that's bad, was that scene.
It was.
The whole, I mean, want to talk about distaste? Like the first 15 minutes of the film, and it was an actual film rather than these actors talking about "Thank you for coming to my film."
Yeah, right.
Like this gave me a reason to have a distaste towards the actual movie, and it just was not a strong start. I mean, and then it did get better, but the end also wasn't strong for me either.
No. What did you think of the post-credit scenes?
Were there some?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, I do not remember that.
I sat there and I Googled it, and I'm like, good, I can go.
That's right. Yeah,
so I'm like, let's go.
I stayed through, because you know how like credits do the two parts of like, we're going to have an exciting background for the first section, and then it just goes to black.
Yeah.
Because usually if there's an end credit scene, there's always one after like the exciting screen roll.
Right.
And there wasn't. I was like, all right, I doubt there's going to be anything left.
Yeah. I wanted to get out of there. So
And you did.
I did. I'm sorry, Indiana Jones fans, but the Dial of Destiny, it just...
Even the name was bad.
Was not a great way to end.
No.
Time travel. What's with...
Time travel?
What's with... I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's so weird. If you want to reboot it and do that and it's a whole different thing, fine.
Yeah. Not the way to end.
And the one line that they had in there where Indiana Jones says, well, I don't really believe, blah, blah, blah. But and it's like, but I've seen, I'm not saying the line verbatim, obviously, but it's like, they had to have that line in there. To say that what we're doing is just stupid. Yeah. I mean, that's what that line says. And it's one thing
if it's like mysticism, like, because that's what they did with the second, they're like, a lot of them have like the mysticism, like religious section of like bending reality. Like, but this one was just stupid in the way that it did it.
And this took Crystal Skull to a whole new level, man. Right. I mean, Crystal Skull alien thing and interdimensional. Right. And, what?
But just think about the last two films of how it just completely ruined the universe of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Fourth one, aliens.
I mean,
fifth one, we're going to go back to
2,000 some years.
Yeah.
Like,
we didn't take into consideration the tectonic plates.
Yeah, the drift or whatever.
There's the logic. That makes so much sense.
Exactly. It's like,
he can invent time travel, but can't think about tectonic plates.
Yeah, so bizarre.
Yeah. I don't know. I was never excited. Even the trailers were never good. I never got excited for the film based off the trailers. Like, even the horse scene, like, the big part was, I think, the standout moment for me in the trailers was the stupid horse on the railroad tracks and, like, just dodging the train. I was like, that's not even interesting.
No, and it was clearly not even it didn't even come close to looking real. No.
Like, I mean, most of these scenes, there was such heavy CGI in the background that it just took me away from the experience.
Yeah. There was some good little pieces in there that were like fun, but then the CGI came in and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, Mission Impossible, we haven't seen that yet, but we're going
Spoilers.
to, I think, next week.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, look, Tom Cruise literally jumps his motorcycle off of a cliff 6 or 7 times to get the shots.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff I can sign up for.
Right. He's so committed. Did you see his comments in relation to Mission Impossible to Indiana Jones?
No.
He's like, I hope to be doing movies as late as Harrison Ford did the Indiana Jones stuff.
Sure.
Into his 80s. And I was like, yeah, Tom Cruise could probably do that, but he'll probably die from a stunt somewhere.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's 60 now, isn't he?
And he's still doing all those things.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that he does that.
Yeah, it is. So, I don't know. There's some thoughts. I knew I wouldn't like it. I wanted to. We talked about whether or not we would even do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we probably better.
Yeah. It's an important franchise in movie history.
It is. Yeah. I mean, those first 3 were pretty huge.
Yeah. And it's crazy because those were like almost back to back to back.
Yeah.
And then they took a nice hiatus. Because I was thinking, so when I looked at that when it came to Tom Cruise and the Mission Impossible films, so this is the 7th one for Mission Impossible wise. This is the 5th Indiana movie. So he's already past that. But then I was like looking at like the whole time span. Mission Impossible has been like, they've had a nice spread out release where it's not like, because Indiana Jones, anytime it got a new movie past the original 3, it was like, yeah, we're just going to reboot it with the same characters. Where Mission Impossible releases at least in a decent time, where like, oh yeah, like I'm ready for another one.
Yeah, and 2008 I think was Crystal Skull, and this is 15 years later.
Right.
Still
had to go after the Nazis.
The Last Crusade was 91 or something. I don't know if I didn't write it down, but
it was. And
so it's like it went from it. That was a huge jump. Is what I remember.
Right. Yeah.
From 2008.
Right.
But.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's super weird to me that the way they do 89. This. It was 89 even. Yeah. Wow. So the egos, frankly,
too big.
It just seems like that's what got in the way of this to me.
Yep. Which is too bad.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Lucas himself, he wants to buy back.
Right.
He's mad at Disney.
Right, because they've been taking it. I like Star Wars, but other than that,
well, Star Wars it's good because they could have more people involved and a bigger budget. Right. I totally agree, but storylines in Star Wars hasn't been that great.
The TV shows.
No. Yeah, and see, I haven't watched much of them. Yeah, I haven't watched much of it. I mean, The Mandalorian, the first 2 seasons. Yeah, it's true.
It's called a lance. Hello.
Yeah, so I mean, he wants to buy it back from Disney.
For good reason.
Yeah.
Lucas has to be old too.
Oh, he's old.
Yeah, I'm excited for Star Wars because Dave Filoni was basically was his underwing for George Lucas. And so, like, at least there was that mentorship for the series. Indiana Jones hasn't had anything when it comes to that type of stuff. So, and it doesn't have the huge, like, fan base of, I mean, Star Wars is Star Wars. And they got all the novels, everything else. Indiana Jones, outside the movies, doesn't have anything, really.
No. I mean, they've had some rides and some stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It's disappointing.
When I was a kid, We went to Disney World, or I was a senior in high school or a freshman in college. We went to the Indiana Jones thing.
Oh, you did?
So
yeah.
It was one of those things where it was like reenacting things. They picked people from the audience, and I was one of the people who got picked.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That is fun. Was your character like in a death scene or anything, or did you make it? Did you live?
I did live. I don't remember the whole thing, but I was alive. They didn't have streamers of red come out my body, so that was a good sign.
There you go.
I'm living.
Did you see the budget?
I did not, because I didn't really want to know, because it was probably more than I...
So here's what Wikipedia has. 295 to 400 million.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, a lot of movies are now being
$100 million range.
Pocket change.
So, 263.8 million to date.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to make it back, but it's not going to be pretty.
Oh boy, I don't know. It won't make the 400 million back.
No, you're right. If it gets,
not in the box
higher
office.
End,
If it's the four, no, it won't. But, unless something really somehow flips. But
and it's not one of those that is going to age well. So it's not going to. The Elemental was one that was weird, where it had a very weak release, but now it's like being one of the. Since then, it's tracked to be the best animated film for Disney next to Frozen 2.
What's out?
Yeah, well, that's true.
I mean,
but there's a lot coming out soon.
Yeah.
Barbenheimer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've seen those T-shirts.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch those back to back because I'm really intrigued.
Okay, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Did you see that? You must have seen that because he said that. Like, he's all over the internet saying that he's going to watch them back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Cruise is. Like,
after the whole fact of, like, we need to get Mission Impossible screening on the IMAXs over basically campaigning against them. And I was like, all right, now I'm going to watch them back to back.
Yeah.
Which is so silly.
It's
so funny.
Yeah.
Should we actually talk about the actors in this film?
Yeah, let's talk actor chemistry.
I didn't like it.
I didn't either. There was a few things I did like. Some of the exchanges were somewhat funny.
Give them hell, Indiana.
I mean, some those were the best parts. He was singing. Oh, great, my login just freaked out on me. He's singing the same song as he did in one of the movies and at the end and different things. And so that's fun. And there's some of those things that were fun. The scene where he does the whip, that exchange and then the gun, because, he flipped, and that was fun. The pictures in the backgrounds and stuff where you could see them as an actor, like they were connecting with some of the stuff was cool. But overall,
I mean, Mads Mikkelsen as a villain, his storyline was so uninteresting.
Totally.
And
predictable.
Not believable.
Unbelievably predictable.
Yeah. I still don't understand I've seen Hitler's mistake, let's give rise to the Nazis again. That didn't even, I would understand more so if he was going towards something else. Of we could have done it better, let's rename it something else and go towards that route. But he was like, nope, we're going full on Nazi.
Right.
Just because that's what Indiana Jones always faces.
Always, yeah.
Nazis. Which that was kind of funny with some of the lines, just how much, obviously Nazis aren't good, but I always think it's funny how many times Nazis.
Yeah, I know. It's my score on the actor chemistry, I was not impressed overall, and it left a bad taste in my mouth, honestly, with the way they did the CGI stuff. I know that's not the actor's fault, but yet it is.
He allowed it.
Not only did he allow it, I think he encouraged it.
Yeah. Right. And it was I'm so impressed what they can do with modern technology. And it's
yeah, exactly. Really? And so it's you're 80 years old. Yeah. You're old. That's okay. Yeah. You're still doing this. I mean, and then all the stuff that his shirt being off.
Yeah.
You know,
that was weird.
That was, not only was it weird, what's more weird is all the people saying, hot, you know, and then Harrison. Yeah, and Harrison Ford is all over the place saying, you know, like, yeah, I got it. And I'm like, that's just bizarre, you know. Man. Yeah, and it's okay to be an old man.
Yeah, it would have been better if you actually played into that role versus trying to be someone you're not.
It's just the natural course of life.
Yeah. Right.
So And
even, I feel like I wish they didn't even have, spoiler, Marion's character in this. Because it seems silly. Like, he obviously was reminiscent. I wish he would have died. Like, not that.
Well, the kid died. The dad died from before, but yeah,
it would have made more sense with the reminiscing of like my love had died. Now I'm just doing the same thing every day. Versus she's still out in the world and it's just this divorce that's causing the rift.
Yeah,
that seems weird.
Yeah,
and then they had a nice makeout scene at the end. That's what everyone wants to see.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, they're not doing this.
Yeah. No, they did.
And
it was so slow.
Where doesn't it hurt?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're kidding, right?
That's right. Spits out the dentures.
Exactly.
That's right. But like, that's the hardest part about this film. Beginning was awful. No redeemable parts about that. Ending, awful. They did the whole thing of, I guess I can let you give your score of character chemistry.
Yeah. So, so, you know, we're not in the 4s.
No.
We're not in the 3s.
I didn't think so.
We're at 2.7. It was just too, yeah.
I was a solid 2.8. Nothing was great. And there's so many points to this film. I was just like, yeah, this can just be over now. Like, it's stupid. And they did such a disservice to this character too, because when they did time travel back, Indiana was like, just let me be back here, let me die. And, you know, I wish they either let him do that or not have that line, or at least not him, like, maybe coming to the realization of like, oh, Marion does still care about me, I need to go back to her and have that realization. Nope, I'm going to say that, gets punched in the face, forced back, and then that's the resolution. Like, that is such a, like, CGI was a bitter taste. That mark they left on the character, bitter taste.
100% agree. I'm sad for this franchise.
Yeah. I wish it got rebooted. It needs to get rebooted if they're going to do anything with this franchise.
I think it's dead for a long time.
Yep.
I really don't. I don't see how they can reboot this in the next 10 years.
No. My guess is going to be a TV show next.
Could be.
I think.
That's the reboot.
Coming towards TV shows, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you could have all the different adventures that they go to.
Yeah, they did have an indie TV show.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I think so. Young indie or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
they did. I remember that.
I never watched it, but
no.
So.
And the graphics probably would have been better on the TV show.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's really weird the way they're doing some of this stuff, and what's really weird, and I've probably said this before, but how they're trying to push all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like weird different things they're trying to push. Yeah.
Yeah, like the graphics story is out of this world, and then the graphics are awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
Well, what was really weird for me too is, and you can see it in some of the places are very, very, very obvious. But have you ever seen those like reflective screens that they have for lighting?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those?
I haven't seen them, but I've heard about them.
Yeah, so they have these like, when I was in film before, just kidding, I've never been in film.
I would have believed anything.
I've done about everything else, but no. So they have these like reflective screens. They they're these like 6x6 things, and so the lights are on like our lights, and then they stand over off camera, and so it reflects and stuff, right? There were spots in here that I'm like,
you can see it. Yeah.
Obvious.
And you know what's crazy about this whole thing is that the first 3 films are going to hold up and are already better graphic-wise than what this is.
100%.
Which is insane to me. It's baffling. That is not how it should work.
No.
But at the same point, they had real sets, so they could actually be in those settings and situations.
You can feel it as an actor, I imagine. You can, as an audience member, you can see that this is a real thing.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do if you're gonna do an Avengers and you're gonna do a Batman or the Flash or whatever, okay.
Yeah.
That's stuff that's not real.
Right.
If you're gonna do something like this, just make it real.
I will say the time portal vortex thing that they went into is kind of cool to look at. That was the only thing I was intrigued to like. It was like, oh, this is actually refreshing because this is kind of like, this is good CGI.
You know what I thought when I saw that? I agree.
Yeah.
First off. But what I thought when I saw that, I'm like, huh. So this is like a Marvel movie or a DC movie.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was just weird.
So weird. And then, like, why did they have to give...
It did look good, though. I mean, it really looked good.
And why did they have to give Socrates the watch? Like, why couldn't they just left it that he could go into the future? Like, again, plot-wise...
Archimedes?
Yeah, Archimedes, sorry.
That's okay.
One of the philosophers.
Yeah.
Mathematicians. Why can't they just have him believe that he actually wanted the future versus anything else?
Yeah.
Like... That's stupid.
It was all weird, yeah. But
here's the thing to take out of this podcast: how many times can we say "stupid" in one podcast?
I think there's more coming.
Yeah, I mean, we still have one whole thing to go through.
Yeah. So cinematography, the cave scene, I thought they did a terrible job on a lot of that.
Yep.
The lighting was obvious. It should have been darker. I know they have to light it, but it should have been darker in some things. So I hated that. I mean, I just didn't. It wasn't real.
None of the locations were interesting.
No. The echo chamber, that was cool.
Yeah.
They did that well.
A cool concept.
Yeah, I thought they did that well.
I
love Indiana Jones, and I just want to like this, and I can't.
I watched Dial of Destiny, obviously not first, but like when it comes to the last few weeks, this is the movie I experienced first, and we're going to review Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. And so I watched this one first.
That's not today, right?
Probably not. I don't know. Who knows?
I thought we were doing Abe Lincoln.
Are you serious? No, I said Raiders.
I thought I missed that part. All right. I've watched it plenty of times, so we're good. We're good.
I did not make it through a Vampire Slayer. But so I watched Dial of Destiny, and then I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. And locations were
I was
better,
getting fuel when you text me.
Better. So. Everything was so much better going in that order. Yeah. I can have only imagined what I would have felt if I would have went Raiders of the Lost Ark, then Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, these scores would have been in the ones all around.
Yeah, 100%. You go first on your cinematography score.
2-3.
Wow.
This is probably the lowest score. It was so bad.
I'm a 2-0 flat.
Yeah. And this is only going to get worse.
Yeah.
You said you watched Kingdom of the Glass Skull or whatever it's called again.
Yeah, Crystal Skull.
Skull. To get ready for this one. If there's ever another Indiana Jones movie, more likely TV show, you hear it here first. I will never rewatch this film.
No,
I don't think so.
I mean, I saw Crystal Skull in 2008 once.
Yeah.
I don't watch many movies once.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna see it, usually it's one that I'm gonna want to see multiple times.
Yeah.
And that was one I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. At least
so it's been 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going first on this one. I'm dying to hear what you think.
This one was another 2-3. This is nothing good. Like, there were some fun, like I said, Give You Hell or Indiana. Like, that was a cool callback. I mean, the whole Kiss Me, like, I didn't like the scene, but like, it was a good reference to bring back if they weren't so old. And maybe that's just me, but like, it was stupid.
Yeah.
And then, it was just not good.
Not good.
Yeah. This is one you buy just to burn, so no other people have to watch it. Yeah.
Right. Well, I gave the entertainment a 2.5.
Okay. We're on the rise.
Well, I did really enjoy the nostalgia stuff. I mean, that was cool.
Yep.
I had to separate it in my mind, like,
you and your waffles.
Right. And it's fine. You know, it's not overall, it's obviously a low score.
Yeah.
But there's a few things and they're like, oh, that's kind of fun. Oh, you know.
And I think it would have been so much different if they could have stuck the beginning or stuck the ending. Do one of those. Like,
yeah.
At this point, I don't even care if it's one or the other. But I just can't.
Yeah, it was not cool. Yeah. I thought it was kind of fun, the pilot in the back of the plane.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sleeping.
Yeah.
That makes total sense back then.
Right.
I mean, they were doing all kinds of weird stuff like that, you know. So.
And then he just lets the kid fly it anyways.
Yeah, right. Well, at least he landed it.
Yeah, he did. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, anyway. That's it, folks.
Yeah. Go watch other films. Or watch our podcast.
Yeah.
Because I like to think we're more entertaining.
A little bit, probably.
Yeah. Just a little
bit. With a lot less of a budget.
Turn that dial up a little bit. If you don't like us and want to leave a snarky remark, you can do that at legitq@mannysmoviemix.com. I'm back, baby.
All right. See you next time.
Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.
Life's too short to be uncomfortable, so make others uncomfortable and wear something from www.shinybrandproducts.com.